about 79% of customers say that they don't feel their sales reps are bringing them value. Using these AI tools, you don't have to spend hours of research. You can do this in minutes, and you can bring insights to the table that make you a consultative help to them rather than an order taker coming in just to try to get a next order. And that makes such a world of difference in the process.
Welcome to Outside Sales Talk, where we meet with industry experts to learn the strategies and tactics that make them successful. I'm your host, Steve Benson, and I've helped thousands of salespeople all over the world crush their quota. Today, I'll help you crush yours. Welcome back to Outside Sales Talk. Today, I've got Donald C. Kelly with me, and we're going to talk about using AI to sell more while keeping it human. A little background on Donald. Donald's a seasoned sales professional, speaker, and trainer on a mission to evangelize effective selling methods and inspire sellers at all levels to do big things. He's earned recognition from Salesforce as a top sales influencer for 3 consecutive years and is a LinkedIn top voice in sales. Donald hosts the Sales Evangelist, one of the longest running sales podcasts in the world with nearly 2,000 episodes and listeners in over 155 countries. Today, we'll be discussing how AI is transforming the way field reps prospect, prepare, and connect with customers, and how to use it without losing your human touch. Welcome to the show, Donald.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and be back with your audience.
Yeah, this is not the first time you've been. I think this is like the third or something, right? You keep coming up with good things to talk about, though. I'm like, that is exactly what we need Donald to talk about.
Well, you guys just keep it real, so it's always fun, man. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, it's good to have you. Well, first question to dive right in. For an outside sales rep who's on the road every day, where is the best place to start with AI, and what's actually a waste of time?
My goodness, this is like I remember when I was doing the road warrior work. I was driving today this weekend across the state of Florida, and I remember when I was outside sales rep doing that. And going to nursing facilities on the west coast of Florida. It just brought me back the nostalgia. But I was thinking, like, how much more effective I would be to not only have the tools that we have now, but also to have AI. And there's several different ways that you can utilize AI. I think even your software covers some of the nuances. So you take care of that already. But like just the thing that would be a waste is just to use it as a Google search. It definitely can help for sure, but there's so much more that you can get from that. And let me start off and give you a couple things here. What I have discovered is I love ChatGPT. Claude is like next level. So I use Claude extensively. But and sellers in their most salespeople, when they reach out to a prospect, the thing that they have the biggest gap with is not being relevant to that individual and the problems that individual is facing. That's where I've seen Claude to be able to close that gap for me and to make a bridge. So I could reach out to, if I'm going out to a certain type of prospect, I'm trying to build my list of, it just helps me to be relevant. I can use Claude to do searches, let's say for facility managers within the Southeast that have this exact problem, or in my territory that have this particular problem, or so forth. Now, the cool thing about that, or maybe their company just had XY, maybe a new funding round or whatever it might be. The point I'm trying to make is that company, Claude allows you to get that focus. And the beautiful side about that is now I can enrich that data through tools like Apollo. So then I just ask Claude right then and there to enrich it. So it gives me the phone numbers and email address, and I can plop it into my software of choice that can help me to be able to be more effective to find. Now, when I'm going to this person, I'm not going with general information or I'm just stopping by. I'm going with a purpose, with a relevant challenge that this organization or individual is facing because of something external things happening in the industry or to their company. And that allows for me to have so much better conversations. It is literally, just for me at least, it shaves off tons of time and allow me to not be an order taker, but to be a consultant that can drive real meaning for an organization.
Absolutely. It's such a crazy time with the speed of change that this is all enabling. And I would encourage everyone to look at your look at existing pieces of software and then look at what AI has now brought to it, because you're you're starting to see now, like, AI has been around long enough, and software companies are have started to really take advantage of it. So it's like, the piece of software that you've been using for years is like a car, and AI is like giving it the ability to self drive for you. And so
Yeah.
it, what that means is anything that you were kind of doing by hand, if the piece of software has been connected to an MCP server, now you can, which a lot of them are, right? They're
They are. Yeah.
incorporating these types of things into their software. That, then now all of a sudden you have, it's like your software now has brains, right? You can
Yes.
tell it what to do. You've given it the controls to self drive. And so, like, to use our stuff as an example, because a lot of the people, a lot of our listeners know about Badger, obviously.
Yeah.
Um the you used to use Badger to build your route for the day, and you'd look at an area of the map, and you'd circle an area, and you'd say, okay, well, I know I've got a meeting here at this time, so let's build the rest of the day around that, right? Today you can have, because you can give the controls of Badger or whatever kind of software you're using. You can give the controls over to AI, so you can say, okay, do this task for me over and over again. Like, you have access to this software, I just gave it to you. So now build me a week of routes, and when you build those routes, look at my calendar to see where I already have meetings set and scheduled, and so build the routes around that. And I really want to focus on customers with XYZ characteristics that you put on my route. Out of everyone I know, like, this is what I want to focus on right now. And then also, please draft emails for me.
Yeah.
And I love how I say please to the AI all the time.
I know, right? I'm
Please.
preparing for when they take over. At least I'll be on their good
Exactly.
side.
At least you wanted to think we're polite. It's like, please, so please please draft emails to these 40 accounts that you're going to put on my calendar for the next 5 days, and put them in the draft box, and basically say X, Y, and Z. Let them know I'm going to be in the area, and I'd love to drop by at this time. Um, and I make, then you can go through the drafts and sprinkle in whatever other things you wanted to add to that, if you actually know them or whatever. Like, it's been a while since we last met up, at that blah blah blah. But anyway, point being, because you're connecting all your different pieces of software, something like Badger, your calendar, your email, or whatever else, now you can have this brain self-drive them all, right? Which is it's a whole new world, right? And so I think that's one of the biggest changes that's coming out right now, is just in the stuff that you've been doing for a long time, but by hand. Now all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you can have the machine drive this.
Yeah, it's the key is the evolution of software and SaaS is becoming agentic. We have a client, and that's one of their big focus, the things that they worked on. And you described it really well, Steve, in the way you said it. It's not more of I don't need a tool anymore. We've evolved. Let's just say back in the days we did all this stuff manually. Then we had software that helps us to be able to. It's a tool that we can use to be more effective. The next iteration is not me needing to do the tool, it's agentic, where I don't even need to use the tool does stuff by itself. And that's that iteration. That's the biggest, I mean, that's where a big leap for people to take when it comes to AI, because we've been doing this the way we've done it for so long. But agentic is literally the in so many different ways in areas of our lives. And obviously you want to be careful and so forth, but I feel like you giving it the proper access can help you to become so much more effective and more human. There's a study that shows that the average sales reps is sells, meaning when you're sitting down with prospects, it's around 11%, I believe, of their day that are doing that. This is a Salesforce study per week. So 11% of their week is actually selling. So what is the sales rep doing the other times? Obviously, so many other tasks. Can we use tools that's going to help us to be able to be, even if we were selling 15 to 20% of the time, meeting with people, having human to human conversation, building multi-threading within the organizations that we're going after and so forth. That makes such a huge difference in the end. And I love also the paperwork side, because that's where I found to be able to be the biggest challenge. I remember when I was, and seeing field sales reps, back in the days, they would utilize like recording devices to record the recap for their meeting, and then having to go and type that sucker up. But now there are tools and tech that allows us to just simply, we can just tell it what happened, and then have our agentic tool actually update the CRM and actually send out that recap email. That's where it becomes this real assistant that you have, and that's totally possible. But I mean, obviously we need organization leadership to be able to support and be a part of this that can help it. And even if your organization is not, you can do to some degree where you can use Claude or something like one of those tools, depending if it's the HIPAA certifications and so forth. But you can dictate your notes or information and get that and put it into your CRM if there's an MCP connector to it as well. But again, there's just no excuses anymore. We can't say that we just didn't know. All of this could be Googled, or even you can ask Claude can help you with this, or chat, and you can get the directions. It is a whole new era we're in, and I think field sales reps have a huge ability to be able to feast off of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually a cool thing we're working on right now. That's it's in beta right now, and people will have it soon. But it's, you can just, as you're walking to your car, talking into Badger, and then it fills out it basically fills out your notes from the meeting automatically based on what you just said as you're walking to your car or after you sit down or whatever. Like, it takes a chunk of your voice and then fills out all the right fields and all the right objects in your CRM, and send, and you just press send. The other thing, if you want a really cool tool,
are you guys integrating to most CRM right now? I know you do HubSpot.
Yeah, we do the 12 largest CRMs. But if someone has another one, we can integrate to that too. We actually we built our own integration tool years ago, and that's evolved to a point that we started selling it to other people. It's called Grid Squid, and so Grid Squid is it helps software companies connect their software to a bunch of CRM systems, and so Badger has a bidirectional real-time integration with the 12 largest CRMs. So it's the HubSpots, the Microsofts, the Salesforces, Zoho, etc. down the line, Pipedrive, Monday. But yeah, that's been a fun one. But yeah, we do connect with all those, and I forget what the other question was. I forget what I was saying something, but I don't remember what it was.
I got you distracted. Here I am trying to learn all the features.
No, it's fine. I guess I know what I was going to say. I was going to say a cool tool that field sales reps can also use is Siro, Siro. It's kind of like very similar to Gong, but really built from the ground up with field salespeople in mind. And we've actually integrated that with Badger, and so you can just like click a button in Badger and it launches Siro, and that's one of the doing what you're discussing, right? Like, it records your whole meeting and gives coaching and that sort of thing. It's like a AI real time coach. But that's a tool that I've seen people use successfully recently. We liked it. We liked it so much we just connected Badger to it. So yeah, that's another cool thing. Like, I mean, all the software is starting to talk to each other, right? Either with assistance with AI or just integration technology, or and in automated ways, right? So you can have all these things like set up to be automatic, and the well, I guess you've said that AI makes sellers 3.7 times more likely to hit quota. Mm-hmm. But most outside sales reps are still doing things the old way, obviously. What do you think is holding, and this isn't just field salespeople, but what do you think is holding salespeople back from using and adopting AI?
Don't know what good looks like, intimidated by it. I'll tell you, those are some intimidated by it, don't know what good looks like, and their organization isn't taking it as a priority. We could tackle each of those. So don't know what good looks like is, I have the tool, but it's like say, for example, I don't know, like we've had a juicer for so long, Steve, and I've probably used a juicer maybe 20 times, and we've had this for like, I don't know, 10, 12 years. But I see all these amazing juice and I'm like, crap, I could do that. I have the tool to be able to do that. But the thing is, you need to understand the recipe. You need to understand, make it a part of the schedule. You need to make sure you understand, the cleaning side. Some of these things that we don't necessarily know, but if you can show me what good looks like, then it makes it so much more exciting to go for it. I do see some organization giving their salespeople access to Claude or to Chat or to any other tools, but it's not a they don't have any as far as workflow or processes that they've utilized. You just figure if we give them the tool, we fulfilled what we needed to do, and I think that's one of the weakest part. Now the way that you can fix that is easy. Again, we have many things at our disposal. Even if you were while you're driving, just talk to Claude. Just explain to Claude your workflow. Hey, this is what I'm doing. These are the tools that I do, and these are some of the biggest challenges that I'm facing. Talk to me and give me some ideas of what I can do to be able to improve and become more efficient. You'll be amazed what kind of insights that you can get as you give it your tools and give it what you have. It can give you some guidance of ways that you can do it better. So that good, what good looks like shouldn't be an excuse anymore. You can Google and see or YouTube, see what some other field sales reps are doing, and you can find tons of ideas with that as well, or just salespeople. The second one that I would say is, going back to is, I don't know what good looks like, but also is this idea of, let me talk to the manager first. So the management side, I find that sometimes the leadership of an organization have not truly adopted a software or adopted a tech tool, and they just feel like, again, if I buy it, then that can be effective. What I would recommend for every leadership team to do is to take their sales reps, and this doesn't take a whole bunch of time, but give their sales rep, just like the activity that I just shared, go on YouTube or use Claude, and I want you to identify maybe what are some of the things that you can find that we can do to become more efficient as an organization. But now the leader of the organization doesn't have to be the one that's doing all of the stuff, but or all of the training. But once if you are equipping your team and they're hearing you once a week ask how they can become more efficient, and having sales reps share how they're being more efficient, leadership, wherever leadership turns, that's where the organization will turn. And I promise you that your organization the sellers will come each week with unique ideas or things that they've tried, because they know the leadership is see this as important and want to see what they have. That makes such a big difference when it's all said and done, in utilizing it. And then the third one is just the intimidation, right? I don't know what to do. Again, this kind of goes away with what the good looks like. Or sometimes they might say, well, I find this older sellers, some of the more veteran sellers, that they feel this is the way that I've always done it, so I'm going to keep doing it this way. Well, the thing is, time is evolving, and I'm not saying to abandon the things that you have done. Just take it and enhance it. It's like, again, if I have the ability, if you're running a mile and you can do a mile um, in 6 minutes, fantastic, great. You're better than most human out there. But if we were to say, man, I can get you to do a mile in 5 minutes, wouldn't you want to learn about that? And this is not going to hurt your body or anything. It's just going to be techniques. And I'm going to show you some ways that you can increase maybe by 1% your speed, and see how this is going to help you. Like, of course, I'd be curious to learn about that. And that's the same concept that I look at, especially with the veteran sellers, the ones that were just a little bit slow or afraid of it. And they can start off on the basic things, some of the things that we've talked about already. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this. If you can use your phone and use Siri, if you could go on Instagram or WhatsApp, if you could go on Facebook and post your favorite political view, like, you could use one of these tools to help you to be able to become even just 1% better. And that's what, and in the end, if I can become 1% better and help more of my customers, money in the bank all day long. But those three things, I would say, is the biggest thing that I find that holds salespeople back. Is one, don't know what good looks like. Two, the leadership team maybe is not adopting it. And then the third part is intimidation by it or afraid of it.
Absolutely. And I would say ask around, like
Yeah.
in group meetings, like be like, try to figure out what are things that other people have found useful, what's working for them, what are the, a lot of this stuff, prompts, etc., agents you can share with people, right? Like, if someone on the team has figured out a cool prompt that learns something about the territory and like learn, whatever the thing is, you can then, often they can just send it to you, right? You can just use it, copy paste, right? Um, it, you a good one good thing that jumps out at me is like account research. This is something that AI is great
Hmm.
for, like getting insights into what's going on in an account. And, you know, what's the difference between what AI prep can do and what you could do 3 years ago just Googling and you know that sort of thing.
The biggest component that I see is I would take 45 minutes or so to prepare, even with Google, because I'm going to individual pages. I am finding information, I am copy and pasting, and I am trying to piecemeal all this stuff together. And I'm switching back from software to software. So you take in 45 minutes using something like any of the agentic tools AI tools out there. What it has done, it has made it possible, like in 7 minutes you can have everything that you need. So I can ask to find me, maybe based on several accounts that I have, can you see if there's anything in the news or anything in industry and information um, about this company? Is there anything in any updates on these leadership teams or whatnot? Is there anything that you can help me to find on maybe just industry changes that's going on? The accounts that I have, can you help me to identify which one of them have maybe a need for upsell or upgrade at this point? Any of them that have, coming to the end of their contract. Like all of this information can then systematize, can give me, well, the Claude or whatever tools you use can get all that information and can bring that and summarize it for you. So then now you can do your preparation in like 7 minutes. That can be, again, that could be a whole difference where I can make some phone calls to prospects while I'm going throughout my day while I'm driving, and have my tool help me while I get to my next meeting. I can just have it play it, speak back to me, the recap that I got. But now I'm more prepared for that meeting. I can know the angles that I'm going to go on because of initiatives that the organization has, or maybe some changes, regulatory changes that they may not even know about yet. It allows for me to be able to become as the person that we call this, to be able to bring blindside information. Any sales rep can bring regular information. Well, this is going on. These are features and benefits. These are the problems that we can solve. But if you can give me insights that I'm not even aware of yet, um, because you're in your research, you discovered something that, a regulatory change that's coming down the pipe, or something that happened because of the increase in gas prices or whatnot. You can give me some insight as a business owner or as your client. I'm like, holy crap, that's a huge deal. Because there's another interesting stats that we found through, I think this one is HubSpot, maybe it's Salesforce, but one of them. But the stat came back to say that about 79% of customers say that they don't feel their sales reps are bringing them value. So using these AI tools, you don't have to spend hours of research. You can do this in minutes, and you can bring insights to the table that make you seem more as a consultative help to them rather than an order taker coming in just to try to get a next order. And that makes such a world of difference in the process. But again, I'm just really passionate. It's not that complicated anymore. From 45 minutes down to 7 minutes, I'll take that any day.
Absolutely, you can download information and get access to it so much faster for sure. And using the same prompts, you build a prompt about getting the right, give me the trends on what's going on in this industry. What would someone like this be experiencing, and fill in the blank. What what advice would you have for someone in this type who's running this type of business? Like you ask those same questions, and you know you, and things like it, and Claude can give you a whole little readout that you can skim through in 3 minutes, and now all of a sudden you sound you know what's going on with that type of customer.
Yeah.
um, the One thing that jumps out at me here, on the adoption front, certainly, field sales reps are often running around in the field, going from meeting to meeting, and they're not sitting down at their laptop. What AI tools or workflows do you see really working for people who are constantly on the move? I mean, obviously, ChatGPT has a mobile app and stuff, but like, what else would you recommend?
Hmm. People that are really on the move a lot. For me personally, I have just I don't have a lot other ones that I can think off the top of my head. Um, I've definitely used Claude, and for informational gathering, I've definitely used tools like Apollo, because all that is able to connect now virtually. It takes me, I don't have to sit at my desk. Um, and our organization, if anything, we've this has gone crazy, but we've used Base 44. Are you familiar with Base 44? Similar to like Lovable, but we've created some efficiency tools for us internally. So rather than like adopting, I mean, I'm not talking building a software like stuff like you guys have, but like something that can help to make us a little bit more efficient internally, or put some processes internally. We've used Base 44, so it helps our team, um, to be more efficient. I'll give you an example. So we were using Trello and all of these other back end solutions and trying to connect that. I mean, trying to use them was a complicated forever, but we used Base 44 to help create some prompts that were able to, help us, especially with our production agency, for example. And it was made a world of difference. But it's Base 44 just allows you to take any idea and to put it in a workflow or a solution. You can get that integrated to most of your software. So again, Claude as the base of our stuff, built on using stuff like Base 44, we've been able to find a lot of solution. But any of the solution that your software you're currently using, though, like you said, I see that most of them have some kind of MCP connection, to Claude. So I've just used, that's what I've defaulted to. Um, but I can, yeah, I just don't have a whole lot of extra stuff other than that. If anything, it's just helped me to simplify my approach when it comes to these tech tools.
Absolutely. What about objection handling? How can AI help
My
there, or is
goodness.
that too human a skill?
No
Yeah.
way. No, I'll give you one. I was going into a deal with a client, and one of the things that I asked Claude to do was help me to identify what are some of the challenges or questions that they could bring up that I'm not necessarily thinking about. And he gave me a bunch of stuff, and then I would, and then I can practice with it. So here's how I would answer this, and I want you to give me some feedback on, do you feel that this could work? And it just gives me a practice, right? Because it's never going to be exactly that same situation, as you know, no matter how much role play you do. But what it does, it allows for you to be able to think on your feet and to be more efficient and to be more effective. But my objection, again, when you look at the company, when you look at the role, I take their LinkedIn profile too, and I dump it into to chat, or to Claude, and I can just tell it like, this is the person I'm meeting with. This is the industry they're in. This is a temp. This is the, based on the information you found in the space right now regarding this industry, what are some of the challenges you can foresee that he might be facing, or she might be going through, and help me to identify some stuff that I may not necessarily focus on. And that gives you some good objection guidance. But again, it gives you the feedback, to say, yeah, you answered it this way. Maybe try, since their CEO mentioned that they're trying to go public, you should, in answering an objection like that, talk about what Mark, the CEO, said and how this is, a part of their plan. But that way is how I've utilized, Claude. And again, the ability to talk to it and have a talk back, that one again is a game changer. So I can have my hands free and don't have to try to read the stuff while I'm driving.
And if you hear from a veteran field sales rep, hey, I've been doing this for 20 years. Without AI, I'm fine. What do you tell them?
Sure. Like, keep doing it. And if you want to be better, this is the way you be better. The thing that I've always shared with veteran sellers, I ran tracks, Steve, and one of the things that I found when I ran track, when I was first new to track, again, and I use a little bit of this in the distance running, but when I did sprint, in middle school, I running a 400 meter, I probably could do that in like 60 seconds, right? So I'm getting to that 1 minute mark. As I got into high school, and then as I got to the college level, I was able to shave that number down. By the time I got to the college level, Steve, I probably was hitting my peak. But what was happening though, I'm at that point, just like in the Olympics, you're not beating people by multiple seconds, right? At that point, it's like milliseconds. So what, and all of our competitions right now, they're coming to the table with the same 20 years experience, and you're just like, you two are, two veterans running track at the collegiate level. Your eating habits is going to change the way that you perform, the maybe the clothes you wear, the technology, the shoes you're using, your ability to be able to hit the block, get out of the blocks if you're sprinting at a little bit better. Those are the milliseconds you're shaving off, and that's what using AI could do. So if there's a way that I could win a deal when all things were remaining constant, and I can win a deal by a millisecond because some small thing that I was able to present or share from AI, that's what it's all about. I'm not telling you to go change your whole world, but I'm telling you to utilize it to enhance what you're doing. And that's how I answer that question, or help veteran sellers try to see it. You're back in the days, yes, you needed all the fundamentals. Now you're doing darn well, but let's shave off a millisecond so you can potentially get separated between gold and silver.
And if a rep is looking at, their entire territory, lots of different prospects and
Mhm.
customers, what are some strategies to use AI to boil the ocean for you, to separate the wheat from the chaff, find the right prospects out there?
Yeah, we kind of hit on this just a tad bit a little bit early on, but it's you asking or giving access to your data towards those clients. So again, if I'm going into it, and I think yours was pretty good too, the question you asked early on, Steve, as you're explaining it to like your AI software. I'm trying to find customers that are potentially could be an upsell, or ones that are coming to the end of their contract cycle, like that ability for you to be able to do that and to draft an email for you, and also identify the key individuals in the organization that I should be meeting with when I go visit. Like, can you help me prepare that? That again, that's a game changer. So I like the contract expiration. I like the people within my route. I like people who have identify new people in an organization, because you can have it go to LinkedIn and see if there's anyone that's changed in that organization. If you're, especially if you're an account manager, you may not be able to keep up on all of the accounts, but if you can have it peek at LinkedIn and see some new roles and help you with that, I mean, all that stuff is just going to again make it so much more easier, so I can prioritize. I need to get into these accounts because they have new individuals, or maybe not new champion for you, but they're maybe influencers, maybe some of the people utilizing downstream your solution, and it may be helpful to be able to connect with them. Send them a welcome to the company email from me, and that look forward to visiting with them. But like all that stuff, man, those are some easy prompts, easy capabilities that you can do if you have a large account. Segmenting the accounts into different revenue size, and some of the things that you're doing right now in your CRM, but taking those same segmentation and dumping it into Claude, and just having Claude or Chat GPT help you to prioritize. Those are some, and again, that takes out tons of manual work, like hours of manual work. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you're seeing, well, I guess for a little while you were seeing in the CRM industry a whole bunch of new AI focused or AI based CRMs coming on the market. But pretty quickly, we've seen the established CRMs integrate AI into their technology, and frankly, there's so much that you can do there in a lot of cases. To once you have you know a brain hooked up to your CRM, you can really get some great insights. You can take action on things. We've seen customers do things like that, like take action on their HubSpot data, for example, and update everyone update all the accounts to have XYZ characteristics because we think they're going to be great upsells for us. And then they can turn around and in Badger, they can see that, okay, show me everything that was just updated, to this and this in this field. And now I'm going to start building my routes, planning my week around it. So that there's a lot of powerful stuff you can do in your existing CRM. It's not for the shelf. It's often doing these tools are revolutionized by having taking out the busy work and the tediousness of it. If you can have the AI in it do the work.
yeah, it is night and day. Literally game changing.
Yeah. Um, and are there any areas that you think are more BS? Like people are like, oh, you can use AI to do this. This is AI is going to revolutionize this. Where you're like, no, that's still going to be a human thing. Like I've run into that sometimes too, where I'm just like, we'll see about that one.
Yeah, it's the part about the selling that gets me. Where again, if in straight order taking, maybe, yeah, I can, if you just taking an order, yeah. But when it comes to like field sale, the biggest thing that I find that is hard for that to happen, I mean, obviously one sales rep, the AI has to go around. I have a client right now and they're in manufacturing space and they're going to plants. And they sell knives, big knives that, cutting for toilet papers and paper towels and things like that. And they're going around to these different plants, and the way that the industry is just built, none of those plant managers are at a computer throughout the day. They're not going to be, they might pay attention to their phone every so often, but they don't want to die as well in the plant. So they're not sitting there on their phone. This is a human to human relationship, and I think field sales has that capability. With the industry they're in. When I used to do medical stuff. So like today, I went into a medical building, picked something up for my doctor. And I remember just got the nostalgic feeling of being in that building and going to meeting with the account, the excuse me, the office managers and meeting with the doctors and so forth. Like those things, like being on the road and interacting with humans, that piece can't be taken away. The way that I find that it's going to be helpful again is enhancing the information you have as you have those dialogues. As you're meeting with an office manager, what can I say that's going to help them to be able to recognize the value in what we have? Can I bring some blindside challenges, things that they may not be aware of in the dialogue? And those things I feel you're not going to exchange a human. And then other like sales situations too. Like even this morning, I was on a call with a client, excuse me, a prospect. They want to have the dialogue with us, and that's one of the changes you're seeing as well, is because we've gone through COVID and we've gone through that period where now going through that period where so much it's so prolific, or we're experiencing so much AI um, uh, information being thrown at us, that we don't know if it's human or not. So getting the time to be able to sit with a human and to talk with a human and engage with a human, that is precious. And I just don't see that part of the sales process going away. I mean, maybe in the 5, 10 years, but but I still feel that we have so much human interaction that's necessary that we're not going to see that piece go away.
Yeah, one of our investors was asking me, hey, is field sales just going to disappear in the age of AI? And my response was no way. I mean, there aren't order taking only sales jobs anymore, because
No,
if you if it was as simple as just like, oh, I'm taking orders, I'm pulling this off the fax machine and filling out the TPS report, and then they get the thing sent to them. If that was the process, then any business of that nature would have just thrown a website over an order form 15 years ago, right? Like that technology has been around, I mean, 20 years ago, right? Like it's been around for so long that like the, that those jobs are all gone already. So it is it's where it is now. And I think the face to face interactions cut through the noise. There's so
it
much
does.
noise now. It's like every company is sending a million emails a day, and I can't even turn the ringer on my phone, or it just rings constantly with spam calls. Like the it's a very noisy world right now, and the all that noise that exists gets cut through by someone showing up at your office and like doing, or at your house, or whatever the field sales job is. Someone showing up to do the business with you, it cuts through all the noise and gets things done. And so I think industries that have been using this as a strategy for a long time are like, obviously this is the only way to do that. We tested doing it the other way and it didn't work at all. I would suspect that a lot of industries that have been relying on more automation or relying on inside sales or a chat bot or whatever. I bet a
Yeah.
lot of those would have a high ROI if they sent people that hired a field sales team experiment. I mean, at least experiment with it, right? Like, get what happens if you get in front of your customers face to face, right? And because I think it's a materially noisier world than it was, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. I mean, name the time. I think it's been really exponential in the last few years, and
Yeah.
outside sales cuts through that noise.
I think you're going to see a unique change in the industry as well. With just on that idea, you guys are in a really good spot. Um, but it's been proven time and time again. You see it with conferences. People want to have more interaction with people. So I think there's some efficiency that we'll get, but there's some things about going down and going back into sitting down with someone and visiting with them. And I think certain parts of the country, it's more natural than that. In the South, I find people always want to see the white in your eyes
Mm-hmm.
when you do business with them. But I feel there's a renaissance for that, and AI is going to force us to want to do more of that because so much can be done virtually. So
Mm-hmm.
you're in a unique
Absolutely.
spot, so it's exciting for you guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And conference things that enable conferences, and I was just looking at conference software that like captures data and stuff, and like companies like that, I think are going to do really well because I totally agree with you that like conferences have made this huge comeback in the last few years.
Dope,
And I
dope.
think that is a big part of it. It's just the noisiness. You can turn down the noise and like focus on this thing. We go to a lot of the conferences, and really it's a great way to meet people and have real conversations and just like stop for a second and like be face to face with them, and like because they come to the booth and you can like interact with them. I'm going to Boston in a few months to go to the HubSpot conference, and that's always such a fun one.
Yeah, I won't be there
Um,
this year, but definitely enjoy it for me.
yeah, it's a fun one. Um, but what what do you think for the sales managers listening? What are some perspectives on how they can help their field sales team adopt AI? What are some strategies they could use?
Yeah, I think the easiest thing that I found to help sales leaders is you can is first, and as I shared this early on, is first just have the conversation, and two, have the team to be able to do some of the work. Have them come with ideas, bring insights to the table, bring what they are using right now, and set the charge from that angle for them to go out and bring something back every single week. That alone will help to work the muscle, and you don't have to feel that I have to, as a manager, come up with the exact way for them to utilize it. It just I that just has made the biggest difference. It collectively brings the whole team together, and it helps everyone to be engaged in that process. That's what I've always just given to sales leaders and managers. And again, not to just be afraid of the tool, is so kind of answer that one, but I'll just go back to that. That's the best answer that I have found to help them.
Um, what's the most impressive result that you've seen someone a sales rep get by combining AI with what they're naturally doing and what they were doing before?
Yeah, there's tons of different stuff that you can look at. You can look at the efficiency as far as appointments or booked and so forth. I'll give you one for us. We just brought on a new BDR in our organization. Typically, you're taking like several months to get like somebody really ramp. This man has within the first month, he's probably gone on par with what we would normally see after a couple of months. So with somebody with us, and one of the easiest things that he's doing is obviously utilizing artificial intelligence to be able to help us out. So he's ramping faster too, as far as when it comes to business closing, net new business. I find from my angle, just using it myself, give my insights on it. I have closed well, yesterday I got in touch with a very large publishing firm, and there's an opportunity that was developing from that. Previously, I would not been able to get that. That came from me doing the fine tuning through AI. It gave me the information. I was able to reach out to the organization. It gave me a helped me to refine my messaging towards that organization, and all of that just came. So the efficiency in that component and turning into opportunities. Um, I mean, one day's worth of it wasn't even one day's worth of work. It was like probably I did maybe 30 minutes altogether. And that led to the opportunity. I mean, it's a no brainer. Something like that would have taken me probably, 3 days at least to be able to get all the information, craft the messaging, and so forth. Those are some of the areas. Finance, dollar wise, I don't have any dollar percentage, numbers to give in this any percentage, but it's still early in that process. But we're seeing efficiency and we're getting more opportunities, and so from our angle.
Outstanding. Um, what do you think the biggest mistakes are that field salespeople make right now that AI could really plug the gap on and would be a great place to stick it in?
Biggest mistake. Um, I mean, the only ones that I can think about is just not using it. But if you want to go even granular on that, probably say is I know the mistake that I used to make was not doing my updates in the CRM. I felt more again as a lone ranger. I'm out here, I'm doing my stuff. Like, leave me alone, let me sell. But the mistake of not updating the CRM and not taking that part seriously, um, and again, AI tools can help you to solve that one if that's a big issue that you have, like I did. Um, and your data is critical. Being more efficient as you're going out. Again, if you don't have the right data, you're not going to know how efficient you are. So my encouragement: don't do the mistake of skipping over that stuff, because that's going to help you. And then not uh, not adopting AI altogether. It's ludicrous. Utilize it, in even if it's in the basic format. Just utilize it.
Yeah, I mean, data and having accurate data in your system of record,
Yes.
your CRM system is so, I mean, because now you can do so much more with the data because of AI. It just makes it so much more valuable to get good data in there. And it's always been hard for field sales reps to collect great data. That's always been a pain point. So, like, you want me to VPN into the CRM and a Starbucks in between every call? Like, how would I do that? But and it's gotten a lot easier than that over the years. But I will the shameless plug. I've seen the demo of what's coming out in Badger to do this automatically for people. Just you speak naturally
Yes.
into the phone, and it just fills out all your fields that are supposed to be in the CRM that you're supposed to fill out in the CRM. So it basically does the check-in, fills out the check-in for you effectively. Just doing speech to text and then using AI to break up and be like, okay, this fills out this field, this fills out this field, and it's automatic, so it's super easy. Well, I guess by the time everyone listens to this, it'll already be out, but it's May of 2026 right now. But
Let's go. When is
so
it coming out?
it'll
The
be
roadmap.
out in mid June. I mean, it's built, so it'll come out soon. I
Love it.
would say
Love it.
I bet you mid June of 2026. So, but when you're listening to this in December of 2028, this whole episode's gonna sound funny when you're listen to it in 2028. You're like, yeah, my car's already flying. Like driving, I teleport, bro. Like, get out of here. Who would
Can't
do
believe they're
that?
talking about that.
Yeah, look how
This ain't
cute
gonna.
these two are. Like, explaining what an MCP server is. Where are we? Wait, God, this was before. Well,
Uh,
hopefully it's not a Terminator future, but yeah. Looking back, being like, that was cute. They thought it was going to look like that. No, uh, well, what would you say? What's your best guess on how long it takes if someone's able to apply 5 hours a week to improving their skills in these areas. How
Wow.
long does it take for a field sales rep to really see a meaningful bump and get great results from using this?
I know. I mean, in I'd probably say in a couple of days. Like you're gonna be so much more efficient. I mean, not only your routes, but also who you're seeing on those routes, the conversations you're having. You're gonna see that in a couple of days. But I would say if you do all this stuff 5 hours a day, there's no way you can't go without a week without seeing improvements. And improvements, let's measure that what that would be. Improvements in the deal opportunities that you can develop, and then obviously in the deals that you can close, because again AI is helping you to see around corners that you couldn't see around before, and to be able to identify things that you didn't identify before. If you did everything, all these prompts ideas, especially as Steve was sharing with you, if you can do that, and to be able to be more efficient on the people who you're meeting with, and to what you're talking about to them, I just it's ridiculous for me to think that you could not see improvements. We surely did, but I would say as a field sales rep, you should see night and day difference. Five
Yeah.
hours a day, yeah,
5 hour, five. Yeah. I mean, I would say the first thing to do is if I could get on a soapbox and give advice, that I would say look at your existing tools that you're using and look at the new AI features they're incorporating. Because a lot of times it's just like, oh, I was doing that by hand in my CRM system or my my
yeah,
whatever, and because it's just been an amazing 6 months at least at our company, and really at all of them. I mean, all these software companies are just we're all we now have a brain that we can attach to our thing that can control the thing, and that's all it is. It's like a car that gets self-driving software, right? Like Tesla makes cars and they also make self-driving software, and you know the car is just getting. We had a car and it just got upgraded with Claude or ChatGPT or whatever you're using as brain, and it does. It immediately can do so many cool things. So I think that's the first place to look. Like, I mean, the engineers just literally like every week they're like, and now you can do this. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like that saves a ton of time. So look at what you're already look at the software you're using and the apps you're using and the processes you have, and just like look for their new features section or whatever, and or ask Claude what go on to Claude and ask, hey, I use this thing. What are the new AI tools and how are they valuable to me? Given this is what I do, and it'll probably just spit back an answer. It'll be like, well, they released this. It looks like about in March, and it looks cool. It looks like it does this, and this, and so that's one of the first places that I'd say check it out, because software companies are early adopters of this stuff, and to a large degree, it's just kind of it just kind of shows up for you. It's just like it's like a new button.
yeah.
So it's all the value is just hidden behind that button, and you just have to press it. So
That's it. That is it.
well, I will try to summarize all of the wisdom you've dropped on us here. So first of all, don't just use AI as a Google search. Um, Claude is next level ChatGPT, and this changes back and forth all the time. For people listening in 2 years, you'll laugh at that last statement, because
Yeah, they'll
who
have a new
knows
tool.
what'll be doing what then. But those are two leaders in the space, right? And different ones tend to be good at different things, so you got to kind of figure it out. You can. The good news is you can ask them; they're not going to lie to you. Like if you're like, "Hey, who's better at this particular thing? You or this one?" And they'll just tell you. It tends to be honest. Um, but you can use Claude to find ideal customers in your space, and you can go further and enrich the data with tools like Apollo. Connecting your AIs to all the different tools you have, and that's some of the coolest stuff when you're stringing unrelated things together. You're stringing Badger together with your calendar and your email, and it's just and your CR, it's already connected to your CRM. But like all these things together, it's like you could do you start to be able to command and tell it to do really cool things. Um, AI tools are agentic, and so they can help you get things done, even if you give them the right access. And for people that don't, to tease that out a little, like you know using AI, you can give it the command, right? You can, in the command box, you can tell it to do this thing. That's a prompt. An agent is where you schedule it to do some work, and so imagine, yeah, the whole, to use ourselves as an example, like, right, yeah, I want to build my week full of routes. I want you to look at my calendar and build it around that. I want you to take these things into account. I want you to draft emails, and that's a prompt, right? And then, it'll then do that. It'll save the routes in Badger for you. It'll put the drafts into your email for you. But an agent would be like, hey, every morning run this. Every morning at 6 a.m. run this exercise, and build my routes based on the most important things that I need to do today. And so that's the difference between doing it once and having it the agent scheduled doing it for you, in a nutshell. So salespeople might only be spending 11% of their time actually selling. Using AI during those other tasks can really make a difference, right? I mean, and I've heard that stat stated a million times throughout my career, and it does. It just feel the busy work piles up, and you got to do this and you got to do that. A lot of times, that's the stuff that AI is really good at, right? It's like, you can have it do the busy work for you, right? It's your assistant, right? And it's a whole new world in that regard. It's just it does what you tell it to do. Salespeople aren't adapting AI necessarily fast enough because they don't know what good looks like. Leadership isn't used to adopting new technology like this. It's a new thing. It's hard to understand. Certainly feels advanced when you first hear about it, right? It's like, hearing about flying robots or something. And it's intimidating. I mean, it's intimidating technology. It's like, what do you mean I have to use the server to do that? Like a big computer? What? But it's like, it's all pretty. The technology runs under the covers, so it's pretty. A lot of it is pretty easy to operate and intuitive. A good attitude to bring to it is, hey, if this can help me be just 1% better to learn this piece of this or automate that piece of it, it's worth trying out. And it stacks over the course of keep adding skills, use more agents, you do more things, and it adds up. The research that you do on your prospects, for example, on the meeting you're going to have in 2 hours, like, research that used to take 45 minutes, now you can kind of do it all really, really quickly. Whether 7 minutes, you can do the research and read it all, right, and get it downloaded into your brain. But it allows salespeople to become a person, a consultant for their customers that brings blindside information, or meaning info that your prospects might not be aware of already, right? It allows you to bring more value to the table. It allows you to understand what's going on with this person's business, right? If you understand the trends in their micro industry, or things that, what's the world talking about this person? You can ask Claude things like, hey, based on this person I'm meeting with, based on the info that I know, what objections should I prepare for, and how do I overcome that? And if you've connected it to all the right sources of data, it can come up with the answers, right? Using the talk mode in ChatGPT and Claude, and allows you to do things on the go. I mean, you can have conversations with it while you're on the move, right? You don't need to change your whole world with AI, right? But you can use it to get a leg up on your competition. It's not going to take away the need for having human interaction in the sales cycle. I would say that field sales is even more important now, and it cuts through the noise and helps organizations get things done. I would recommend having sales leaders bring up AI tips in their conversations with the sales team and help drive adoption. I would recommend, if you're a sales leader, keep a pulse on who's figured out how to do what. And this goes with technology in general, but like, figure out, hey, did Sally just learn how to use this new cool technology? Like, what is that cool technology? How does it work? Can it work for everybody, or is it something specific to Sally? Like, a lot of times you'll have reps on your team who are just able to adopt technology and will discover it, and it's worth empowering them to bring that to their teammates, bring those ideas to their teammates. Let the tech spread around. Your data is even more important today than ever in a world of AI, because you can use the data so many more ways. So you want to make sure your customer and your prospect data is accurate and up to date. and that helps with things like automated task follow-up, better objection handling, all the automation that you can do. Often it's predicated on good data. So capturing good data and getting it into your system of record is more important than ever.
Mm-hmm.
AI will help you with the opportunities, and you know it helps you close deals, and with adding these types of skills, it can shorten sales cycles, help you do just be a better you, basically. It certainly doesn't replace the sales rep. It enables them to be better. Donald, this is fantastic. Where can our listeners read more about your work? How do they reach out to you to get to know you better?
Yeah, you can go ahead and connect with me on LinkedIn, Donald C. Kelly, or go to the salesevangelist.com. Both two places there you can get a hold of me. Tell me that you heard me on this podcast with you, and I would love to connect with you as field sales rep and reminiscence about the glory days on the road. So
Yeah, and in full transparency, like there we have a lot of sales experts on this podcast. Donald really has expertise in field sales, so that he is definitely a guy to work with for field sales teams. Like he's the real deal. So there's a reason he's been here like 3 times or something. He knows field sales for real though. So anyway, this has been a great episode of the Outside Sales Talk. Um, if you like the show, definitely give us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you're listening to this. And if you work in the field, you'll love Badger Maps. Definitely helps you out. We have free trials. If you think of any other sales reps that would benefit from learning about AI and the stuff that Donald told us about today, definitely share the episode with that sales rep or whoever. A lot of the stuff that we just talked about, frankly, applies to lots of jobs, right? So this is broadly applicable, I would say. Donald, thanks for coming on the show.
Steve, thanks so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Take care.